Hey everyone, this is GosuDad and welcome to my first show match. This is game 1 in a best of 3 between CuePhoenix and RaZe, Terran vs Terran on the GSL map Bel'shir Beach Winter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a grudge match. CuePhoenix and RaZe have a bit of a history between each other, all stemming from a controversial game they played in Season 5 of the Blizzard Online ladder. So before we get started, let's take a look at a few highlights from that game. Hey everyone, this is GosuDad and welcome to Game 15 in CuePhoenix's run in Season 5 of the Blizzard Online ladder. Terran vs Terran on Entombed Valley and the players getting off to a friendly start. CuePhoenix about halfway done with his supply depot slightly ahead of RaZe and now bemoaning his most recent loss to a drone rush. Hello, it looks like CuePhoenix is going straight into his modified 111 build, the self-labeled Bring Your Own Banshee BYOB. Things are looking super busy in RaZe Town as he's got 3 barracks all with add-ons, factory going down with a tech lab and a starport. Looks like he's emphasizing production early on to catch up in the later game. Having built that second Banshee, it looks like CuePhoenix is pushing out at the 60 supply mark. Uh-oh, looks like RaZe is going for a counter drop just at the perfectly wrong timing as CuePhoenix comes in with that massive army. And these armies passing by in the night. This is bad news for RaZe, possibly putting us in a base race situation as these medevacs head over to CuePhoenix's base. Oh, and with all the units in the counter drop, there's only a limited set of defenses at this base. RaZe is going to have a hard time keeping CuePhoenix out, especially with these 2 Banshees cleaning up all of the anti-air. With his home base under siege, RaZe's counter drop gets underway. Only a set of meager defenses here at CuePhoenix's main. With the Banshees wiped out, RaZe setting up a siege line in CuePhoenix's mineral line. Marines coming in to attack. SCVs defending. Marines are not attacking, just taking splash damage from the siege tank, and those are cleaned up by the SCVs. They're now going in to attack the tank. That's all that's left, and cheese by RaZe! Hey everyone, this is GosuDad, and this is the beautiful map from the Global Star League known as Bel'shir Beach with the Winter tile set. It's a pretty cool map, but before we get into that, let's take a look at our 2 players. In the upper left-hand side, we have RaZe playing Terran in the orange, and in the lower right-hand side, we have CuePhoenix playing Terran in the blue. So a mirror matchup here, Terran versus Terran, and this map is a 2-player map, so the players know exactly where each other are starting. Their main base is connected to their natural with a nice little short pathway here that they can easily wall off. Inside of the natural, they have a very large entrance ramp. This is going to be very difficult for players to wall off. And then they will have their choice of 3rd bases in the lower left-hand side, or rather across farthest away from their opponent's entrance ramp to their natural is a 3rd down here. And then closer up to their base, in the back door of their main base, is another expansion here. So now this expansion, of course, is just across the way from the opponent's base. There's a Zelnaga tower between that 3rd base and the opponent's natural ramp. Okay, just playing around with these new camera controls, trying to experiment with this pan. Not used to that, as you can tell. So RaZe going for an early barracks slightly before CuePhoenix. Let's see what CuePhoenix is doing. Looks like he is banking minerals already, so CuePhoenix deviating from the typical plan of his, now building a barracks. So he's banking minerals, but that delayed his barracks, but he's not going for an early command center yet, so not quite sure what he's doing here. Anytime you're banking up minerals for a command center, you want to build that command center as soon as possible. You don't want to hesitate on that. Now, this being Terran versus Terran, a mirror matchup, it's very important for us to see the differences in what the players are doing. So RaZe has a slightly earlier barracks. He's going for gas down here. His gas is almost done, and it is done. Supply counts are very similar, but RaZe is possibly going for some more early tech than CuePhoenix, building a wall between his natural and his main. And just a short note here, I think this wall is incomplete. I think there's some space here. Not sure if that's going to matter whatsoever. CuePhoenix finally going for that early command center. Early, but in a sense really delayed. So RaZe is going to have plenty of time to come up with a response to this move here either by starting his own command center, which he will be behind CuePhoenix, so he'll be behind in economy, or by building more army units. So RaZe is now behind in the supply count. I think he's hesitating to decide what to do here, bringing his SCV back inside, and we'll see what he puts down next. Orbital command already down for RaZe, so he's quite a bit ahead on the tech side, going for a second barracks and building a tech lab. So he is going to try to counter. It looks like he's going to try to build a third barracks here, hiding it in the upper left-hand side. So it looks like he's going to try to counter this early command center strategy by CuePhoenix by doing a timing attack. So a timing attack being defined as an attack that is timed based on something. That sounds totally ridiculous. But I have not cast in such a long time. CuePhoenix looks like he's going to try to build a wall of some sort with this barracks. But like I said before, this entrance ramp is so incredibly wide, you'd have to build several buildings, maybe 4 or 5 different barracks to completely wall that off. He's going for a second barracks now. CuePhoenix has a lot of minerals banked up, and he will have a lot of SCVs in production, as he can make SCVs 2 at a time. Now for a while, his SCVs will be his main army, because that, well, that's mostly what he's able to make. Now RaZe going ahead and building a Marauder and researching the combat shield, so his Marines will have will have 10 more hit points than his opponents. That should make his Marines very strong, plus these Marauders can take a lot of damage from Marines. So if all of CuePhoenix builds is Marines, he's going to be in really big trouble. He's not, looks like he's not really even going for a wall off here, just building a wall of barracks to kind of slow his opponent down. If we take a look at the unit counting station, CuePhoenix just basically tied for SCVs with RaZe. So RaZe has been able to keep up on the economy standpoint. CuePhoenix not gaining very much advantage whatsoever from having these 2 command centers, and you can tell here behind in the army count slightly. Now CuePhoenix will be able to catch up with all these 4 barracks, but if you look over here in Team RaZe, he's got a reactor, and a tech lab on 3 barracks. So RaZe can actually make 4 Marines at a time and 1 Marauder at that time. So RaZe is actually ahead in the army front. CuePhoenix needs to put down another barracks or add a reactor or a tech lab or something in order to make this this gamble of having these 2 command centers worth it. Now he's going for double refinery, trying to get a lot of gas so he can make some gas units, but and I guess a tech lab here, I'm just not sure that this is going to be enough. RaZe coming down with 3 Marauders, 3 Marines, and I don't think CuePhoenix's army is going to be able to hold this off. He's got to start building units. He's banking up minerals. That is not good. Now finally making some units here. Looks like he's just building Marines. This is going to be a real big mistake. Those 3 Marauders can do a terrible amount of damage. They can tank a lot of Marine fire by themselves. It's all going to come down to micro. Let's see what these players do here. These Marines just deciding to take these units head on, not even trying to kite them. The SCVs taking the long way around these barracks to attack. A brave move, but these Marauders can, by themselves, can take out all of these SCVs, and taking the mules off the line, that's really expensive for CuePhoenix to take those mules off the line. Now CuePhoenix does have quite a few units you can see here, but he's now just tied up for SCVs, and RaZe had his own orbital command, so those mules are coming down for him. So even income-wise, without the income tab, you can see their incomes are pretty similar. In fact, RaZe has a higher income from CuePhoenix just because CuePhoenix has been forced to pull his economic units off to hold off this attack, bringing in the rest of the SCVs to fight. This is just not going anywhere. CuePhoenix is done. He just needs to GG at this point, but still trying to hold on, hoping RaZe is going to make some critical mistake. But I think RaZe really showcasing that his promotion into Silver League was appropriate, and CuePhoenix showcasing that he's just not very good at these early expand strategies. That's what you get for playing in Bronze League for such a long time. Now CuePhoenix trying to move these units back and trying to recover, and I mean, I guess off of the 2 command centers he could recover in economic sense, but you know, RaZe's production back at his base is actually better than CuePhoenix's at this point, so I just don't see, I mean, if RaZe pulls back, gives CuePhoenix some breathing time, he may be able to come back into this game, but this is just, no, I just do not see this happening. CuePhoenix, his income, if we try to pop up that tab, is so far below RaZe's, even with the double command centers. I mean, it's just not going to happen. His income is so low, he's trying to repair these buildings and everything, and you know, if we look at the army count from these 2 players, RaZe has a significantly higher army. All of that microing back and forth was completely in RaZe's favor. CuePhoenix not able to really hold this off, but still stayed in the game. This is a show match. So you got to give the audience a good show here. Tech Lab going down. CuePhoenix, the nail in the coffin once again. SCVs going into attack. The Marines trying to use the SCVs as shields. But, you know, now I think CuePhoenix is down to 7 workers. Wow, and this one that one mule trying to scare off an army, that's just not gonna work. One Marauder coming out, not sure where he came from, actually. That's kind of funny. He must have been surviving from previous battles. He has no kills though, retreating back to the main base. Engineering bay went down, not sure why CuePhoenix did that. RaZe baking up lots of minerals in the upper right hand side, but that's just because he's winning this game and focusing on microing this army. Gonna be supply blocking CuePhoenix very soon. I guess that didn't supply block CuePhoenix. That's interesting. He's waiting for that supply number to come down. CuePhoenix holding his army back. I'm not really sure what he's waiting for at this point. He must realize that he's tremendously behind. And RaZe at this point just playing with his food, killing off an engineering bay, waiting for that GG. His other Marines reinforcements coming in to clean up these barracks, which CuePhoenix keeps trying to build units at, but that's not really gonna do it for him to win this game. Mules coming down. Now those are kind of free resource gatherers, but CuePhoenix is not going to be able to hold this off. I mean, he brought these units back to fight these units up at the front, but of course his main has just been destroyed here. This last CSCV trying to make it away, concussive shell slowing him down. Looks like he's going to survive to... Oh! Marauder taking him out. RaZe's army just doing very, very well here. He made an excellent decision to build army-producing structures to counter that early command center by CuePhoenix. Lots of friendly banter between the two players and trying to dance here. RaZe trying to get his units to dance. CuePhoenix's command center apparently trying to go in for an attack. There are a couple of units left. I see the supply count is at 3 for CuePhoenix. Not sure where that supply is. I don't really see harvesters anywhere. And here comes CuePhoenix's command center slowly making his way across the map, and RaZe's army running underneath going, what is going on with you? Just give up. GG, buddy. I think CuePhoenix is looking to see if there's another command center now running away. No expansion. That is correct, CuePhoenix. There is no expansion here. You made the gamble of an early command center, and RaZe called you on that bet, and you lost. Command center on fire now, and GG from CuePhoenix. So, an interesting game, interesting first game to this show match. Will be interesting to see what these players do in game 2. Kaboom! And that is GG from RaZe, and this game is over. Somebody end it. CuePhoenix leave. All right. Well, that was an interesting game. So CuePhoenix went for that early command center, and RaZe succeeded in dancing there, by the way. Look at that. So RaZe, when he sees that command center, he's got a limited amount of time to decide what's he going to do. Like I said before, is he going to go for that command center? Is he going to go for a timing attack with a bunch of army units to try to catch CuePhoenix in a spot where he hasn't quite yet gained the advantage of having those 2 command centers? And he was able to do that very successfully. And that's a very interesting part about, you know, playing in a mirror match, especially Terran versus Terran, where the units, the army units in the Terran game build up very slowly, and so it's very important when you see your opponent going for a pretty strong deviation, such as going for an early command center, that you kind of have your 2 choices. Are you going to be behind in the economy game, or are you going to build a bunch of army and try to win very quickly? And that's the direction that RaZe went, and he was able to do that very, very well. So a good game to RaZe. Okay game for CuePhoenix, but again, this is best of 3, so we're going to see game 2 in just a little bit. So GosuDad signing off, and we will see you guys next time. Bel'shir Beach is a 2-player map. Ooh. Doody doo 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 doo.